Yes, I've been blessed.
Right. But thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Karena last time kita ada technical issues, jadi lu harus ulang. Sorry banget ya.
Gue udah tulis skripnya, Pak.
Udah tulis ya sekarang ya. Oke, jadi hari ini kita kedatangan tamu special. Kalau gue bilang ya. Kenapa special? Karena si Abed ini, lu umur berapa Abed sekarang?
Gue 29.
Udah jadi direktur, bos. Jadi makanya kenapa gue bilang special, dan gue penasaran gimana caranya lu bisa mencapai where you are right now.
Hello, I'm Abed and welcome to Cari Kuliah TV.
So, can you tell us briefly, who are you?
So, as I mentioned, nama gue Abed and I am currently an associate director at Michael Page. Michael Page is a global recruitment firm based kita tuh di London, and we've been in Indonesia since 2013, and gue yang megang teknologi rekrutmennya. Jadi kalau teman-teman are in the field of computer science, engineering, product, data, really anything related to internet, startup, digital, that's what I do.
Sebelum kita go into deeper about your work, basically, boleh nggak? Can you set it straight? Apa bedanya HR sama recruitment? Karena from what I've heard from you, it's different, right?
It is different, yes.
Semua orang dan gue termasuk mengira itu semua sama. Apa
Yeah.
bedanya?
Well, HR is the bigger field. Between HR itu, inside of HR itu banyak other fields that essentially consist of HR. Salah satunya itu talent acquisition, terus ada HRBP, ada employment and benefit, right? And what I do is on the talent acquisition side, cuman gue tuh fokus di sisi eksternal. Really the main difference between talent acquisition internal and external adalah gue tuh fokus on the client, so it's very project driven. I work with various companies. Sedangkan kalau misalnya if you work in the HR TA internal side, you only focus on, well, the company that you're recruiting for.
Oke, tapi apakah kita ngomongin satu perusahaan, bukan perusahaan rekrutmen ya, maksudnya perusahaan biasa deh gitu. Biasanya rekrutmen itu ada nggak di dalam HR di perusahaan itu? Atau harus terpisah memang?
Oh, enggak, pasti ada.
Pasti ada.
Pasti ada. Talent acquisition is actually quite an important part of an organization because an organization is driven by people, kan? So you definitely talent acquisition in a company.
Oh, oke. Jadi basically, nah kalau misalnya mereka, ini kita agak-agak campur sedikit ya. Kalau misalnya mereka baru lulus nih, mereka lulusan psikologi misalnya, kan biasanya kalau HR itu psikologi kan. Apakah mereka harus apply antara HR or recruiter, atau mereka apply satu, ntar tinggal dipilih mau yang mana setelah mereka masuk?
Yang pertama sih, so if let's say you're a psychologist major or you're a communication major, sebenarnya a lot of HR practitioners itu majornya juga in communications, right? You can apply to either HRBP, employment benefit, you can apply to becoming a talent acquisition, but the point is, if you let's say apply to one specific function, misalnya nih, lo mulai sebagai talent acquisition, does not mean that you cannot become an HRBP. Bahkan there's a lot of growth momentumnya itu akan pindah ke HRBP.
Nah sekarang lu bisa ceritain nggak gimana lu sampai sekarang tuh ceritanya gimana dari dulu? Kok bisa cepet banget jadi direktur?
Well, I started my career back in the States. Jadi before I joined Michael Page and came back to Indo, gue tuh pernah kerja sekitar setahun lebih lah di Chicago. In Chicago, I was working also for a recruitment firm, external. Ini tuh boutique house. I was doing there for about a year plus, and then long story short, pokoknya gue nggak dapet visa to continue. But that has been such a blessing in disguise, though. Yeah, that has been such a blessing. So I came back to Indo. I applied to a lot of companies, and I eventually made it to Michael Page. Now and this is part where I believe fortune comes in, because I came in a place where first the tech industry in Indo is booming.
Yeah.
Right. So this was around 2016. So 2015, 2016 was roughly around that time where a lot of startups were investing heavily in their first mobile apps. And so I came in exactly at that right time. So that's where fortune comes in. Because when I came in, it was such a hot market.
Yeah.
And so what I had to do was just capitalize, learning about the market. And then eventually, moving onwards, I started to build teams, build partnership with companies.
Udah. Kayak nanggung gitu ngomongnya.
Ngomong apa lagi? How did I make it here?
Yeah, how did you make it here? Like, I mean, ya memang luck pasti ada lah, ya kan. Dan setahu gue, lu kan dulu kuliah, lu dari sekolah, lu udah di luar kan sebenarnya. Tapi dari awal sampai lu kuliah itu memang lu pasportnya masih Indonesian passport.
Masih Indonesia, yes.
Pantesan visa ya. Ya makanya gue kira lu udah selama itu di luar, at least udah PR gitu atau apa. Yeah, well, yeah, it is a blessing in disguise then. Alright, so kenapa lu pilih recruitment instead of HR or anything else? Apakah dulu waktu lu lulus kuliah nggak ada peluang lagi, atau emang peluangnya yang terbuka cuma itu, atau why? Why did you choose this?
Good question. I stumbled upon recruitment. The joke in the recruitment industry, especially external, is nobody goes to school to become a recruiter. Yeah, that's the joke. And so I mean, when I graduated, I never thought that I was going to be a recruiter. At first, I actually wanted to be in marketing. So I applied to a few marketing roles, and actually when I was in Chicago, it was for a marketing role, but it was an internship. Eventually, because it was a recruitment company, gue tuh cuma bisa di-extend kalau misalnya pengen full time to be a recruiter, right? So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. But I think the question is, why do I stay? Right? Kalau misalnya why I went there, it's because purely I stumble upon it.
Yeah.
It's really the short answer. But what I stay is various factors. Besides the industry, tadi yang saya mentioned, it's booming. I get to learn a lot about business as a whole, and I get to learn a lot about how different functions work together to make a product, to make a business work in terms of commercials, in terms of tech, and I really enjoyed that part. So I know one of the main difference between external recruitment, such as myself, is the business development side. I need to work with companies. I need to partner with them. Right? So there are some level of commercial that I need to be involved in, and that's part of what I really like. And then another thing is, at my level, I manage a team, and I really enjoy that part of people leadership, people management, and helping to see my team grow.
All right, I want to ask you this: what's your job? Day-to-day job descriptions. What do you do there? Usually in a day.
In a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll answer it in two ways, which is my job now as an associate director and my job as a consultant. Okay, so
two different roles.
It's two different roles.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I first started, which was 5 years back, when I started in 2016, it was a consultant. Everyone started as a consultant. Okay, as a consultant, your job is very project delivery driven. And what are your projects? Your project essentially is to hire people for the companies that you're representing.
Yes, of course.
Right? Jadi dari sisi project delivery itu heavy in recruitment. Right? So what I do then was very focused in two things: either candidate callings or candidate interviews. Right? Networking essentially is very important in my line of work, and then of course client development. Okay. But the first piece, which is the candidate piece, is very, very important. Right? That's where I essentially learn a lot about market intels. Right? Now, if you want to become an AD or director above, that's part of your learning curve, is really to understand market intels, because these market intels eventually can be converted into revenues.
Okay, what do you mean about market intels? Karena mungkinnya mereka nggak tahu.
Yeah, good question. Market intel jadi lebih understanding market movement itu seperti apa sih sekarang, what's trending right now in the market, right? If I were to tell you investment is a trend right now, 3 years ago investment tech isn't a trend.
Yeah.
right? So it's these kind of stuff yang gue bisa pakai untuk business development gue.
Tapi FYI ya, gue mau kasih tahu aja. Lu di sini bahasa Indonesia lu kan agak-agak kurang ya.
Iya.
Ya kan? Karena lu dari SD itu nggak di Indonesia kan.
Enggak, ya.
Ya. Jadi supaya mereka tahu, ntar jangan dikira, ntar banyak yang nyinyir lagi jangan-jangan. Kan nggak enak juga nanti. Ntar dikira, oh sok bahasa Inggris nih. Gitu.
Iya.
Ya.
Sorry guys.
Ya jadi Indonesia dia terbatas.
Iya. Bukan karena gue sombong, tapi ya begitulah.
Nah sekarang kalau misalnya gue mau nanya, to become a director, ya, such as yourself, apa sih yang dilihat dari atasan lo sehingga mereka bisa kayak, ya udah gue tunjuk Abed jadi direktur. Kualitas apa yang mereka lihat dari lo? Lo tau gak?
Yes.
Okay.
I hope I do. That'd be kind of awkward. First, it's a given. You need to hit your target lah ya. Okay, so I'm not gonna discuss about that. I'm gonna talk mostly about the qualities that, regardless, I think mau job apa aja, I think these are good qualities to embody.
Yeah.
Okay. Pertama is willingness to learn. I think having a growth mindset is really important. For example, in my line of work, I didn't come from an engineering background. I didn't come from a tech background, right? I didn't study computer science, analytics, stuff like that. Nothing, right? And so when I came into this job, it was very much learning from the start.
Okay.
You know, and whether that be learning through YouTube, reading, and learning on the go, learning by talking with people and subject matter experts, right? Having a sponge-like mentality, I think, is really important.
Absorb,
you absorb, right? And you also have to be humble enough that once you absorb, you know that you're getting competent.
Okay.
Right? Having this humility to relearn is also really important. Right? Because I think the moment you realize that you're competent, you're smart, it could really bite you.
Okay.
Okay? It could stop you from actually progressing further. Itu pertama. Kedua, especially in my line of work, soalnya kan kita very sales oriented, we need to have strong perseverance and grit.
Okay.
We get rejected a lot.
Yeah.
Simple as candidate nggak mau coba explore opportunity yang kita kasih, atau at the very end of the cycle kita udah lagi offer negotiation tapi nggak jadi.
Yeah. Itu kesel sih.
Itu kesel kan?
Yeah.
Right? So if you can learn to quickly get back up, right, and just focus on what you have to focus, have that grit mentality, it's going to be very important, regardless of dunia sales atau di function lain, right? Because you're always going to be faced with challenges, right? And so those are two attributes that I believe made me where I am today. It's because I had to learn them, I had to experience them.
Nah sekarang gue mau nanya, karena gue tahu ini jawaban lo. Seberapa penting kuliah jurusan yang sama kerjaan? Karena gue tahu nih jawaban lo nih.
Mau lo aja yang jawab.
Ya silakan.
Look, education is really important. Stay in school, finish that degree. But it really depends on what you're taking and the line of work in which you're going to take.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're in the tech industry and you are in a function that requires a lot of hard skills, so whether that be coding or if you're in data, working with visualization tools, building models, menurut gua, your education is going to be very, very important.
Yeah.
Right? Because during that years of in university, lo bakal diajarin to the basic fundamentals of those hard skills. Right? But if you're in the line of work where maybe it requires more soft skills, such as myself, general education is good enough. I think it's more on how curious you are and how willing you are to adapt to what you've been taught and to what you will be learning.
Last time you were here, you were talking about the importance of storytelling in your line of work. Yes, dan lu dapat itu dari theater.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you elaborate on that? Yeah, storytelling yang kayak gimana?
Yeah, sure.
Yang berguna untuk kerjaan ini.
Sure. Yeah, so good question. I think why storytelling is important in my line of work is number one, you're captivating an audience, right? And number two, with storytelling, you can uncover so much about the business besides just the numbers. And I think this is something that's really important. Right? I want to stress that sometimes numbers is just that there has to be a story behind a number. Okay, and this is something that I guess learned myself, is that when you sell or when you narrate about a company, right, when you make a pitch, either it could be fact based or it could be emotive based, right? A lot of people who are in the sales industry itu ngejualnya the dream.
Yeah.
The dream is where I categorize as an emotion selling.
Yeah.
Right. What I've identified is in my line of work, especially di dunia tech, where obviously jargonnya itu adalah it's more data driven. Right? People want to know the numbers. It has to be more on the facts driven, right? Data driven selling, right? Nah, what I've uncovered is, menurut gua, it has to be a combination of both. When you're just selling numbers, sometimes it may not appeal to the audience that you're selling.
Yeah.
But when you're selling just emotions, sometimes it won't work as well because people just don't buy the emotion anymore now, right? I think we're in a stage where we have to see the number. But if you can combine them two, it could be a really powerful tool in your sales.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is in storytelling, paling bagus kalau misalnya lu bisa find the story behind everything untuk ngejualnya.
Yeah.
Ya kan? It doesn't have to be data, numbers. It could be anything, but find a story that can appeal to the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oke, pertanyaan selanjutnya adalah, sebelum lo jadi direktur sekarang, lo boleh nggak kasih tahu jabatan lo step by stepnya sampai sekarang itu apa? Pertama kali lo masuk Michael Page itu 5 tahun yang lalu, jabatan pertama kali apa?
Associate consultant.
And then?
When you become a consultant, senior con, associate manager, manager, associate director.
Damn, ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ini ke-7.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
Yeah.
Damn. Berarti dalam 1 tahun lo ada 2 kali naik.
Yes.
Okay, my last question is dari loncat-loncatan itu, gaji naiknya oke ya?
I would not say it's not okay. 5 years loh.
5 years ya?
Banyak temen gue nanya, lu betah? Ya betah-betah aja.
Berarti gajinya tinggi. Nggak, tapi dari pertama kali masuk itu gajinya beda daripada yang lain apa emang udah tinggi di situ? Kayak kan biasanya rata-rata orang entry level itu saya associate kan lo ya, paling kayak 5 mil. Itu segitu apa lebih tinggi?
No, lebih tinggi.
Damn.
Yeah, I think.
Ingat ya. Tuh. Mau masuk Michael Page, silahkan. Jadi sampai sekarang gajinya sangat tinggi naiknya ya, loncatannya. Gitu.
Yes, I've been blessed.
Okay. Cool. All right. That was the last question.
Cool.
Okay. But thank you very much untuk udah ngomongin tentang karir lo hari ini. And thank you again for coming the second time. Hopefully there won't be a third time.
Kalau third time we talk about something different.
Yes. All right. So yeah, that's all for today. And maybe next time we could catch up again and talk about something else. Who knows? Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.